episode of the Clapp Trap, and I have Coach Camire in the whip today. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on the radio, or listening as a podcast, I'll just let you know Coach Camire's in the car right now talking to me. So we've got him in to talk all about the Patriots game that happened. You heard my opinions on Monday, but I wanted to get Coach Camire in here. Obviously, he had Zappe fever going into the game, and now after a 29-0 victory for the Patriots, we got to hear what he has to say about that. We're going to get into some other topics as well, some unfortunate injury news with the Patriots, and we're going to do some other NFL topics and things like that. Also, we have, the NBA starting pretty soon too. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. I don't know yet. But just starting off with that Patriots game, Coach. First of all, glad to have you back on the show. I really appreciate you coming back on. But secondly, obviously, Zappe fever has continued. He led the team, or technically led the team, I guess, to a big shutout win. So are you excited about where the Patriots are at right now after beating the Lions, or is it more about Zappe? Is it more about the defense? Where are you at emotionally with this Patriots team right now after that big win?
I'm a little under the weather.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a fever yet, but I would definitely say I definitely got the sniffles. I definitely got the sniffles, my man. He did well. He came in 17 for 21. The ball barely hit the turf. He had the one interception because I don't know why Aguilar's even on the team, man. He can't catch. He can't hold on to the ball. He'll fumble the ball. He had the one Moss a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome, but the kid, he creates turnovers for the offense consistently.
Crazy.
It's horrible. So but from purely Bailey Zappe standpoint, bro, it's exactly what I thought he was going to be. He threw the ball every down at Houston Baptist. He threw the ball every down at Western Kentucky. If there's one thing he knows how to do, it's read a defense and throw the ball. You know what I mean? That's exactly what he did. He made the accurate throws when they needed to come out, and he dinked and dunked all the way down the field, and it looked awesome. I was going to say, the offense looked the smoothest that it looked all season. Did it not?
Oh, for sure. For sure it did. Everything, run game, pass game. A lot of open passes, but I think that it worked really well.
Yeah. So, from the Zappe standpoint, I don't think you could really have a better, coming out party than that, and barring him just throwing 4 touchdowns or something. But that,
right.
In his first start ever, obviously Belichick's not going to open it up like that. But I was glad that he opened up even to the point where he threw 21 passes. I thought was even more than I thought he was going to get going into that game. I thought it was going to be more of a 12 to 15 attempt day for Zappe. Instead, he threw the ball 21 times, probably because of the success that he had early on. I think he started the game 7 for 9 or something. So I was really impressed with it. And obviously it's a lesser opponent. That defense was horrible. The offense, that we were very scared of, maybe are we gonna be able to score with them? They pretty much just said we're gonna make Jared Goff try to beat us, and we didn't let that happen defensively either. Jack Jones has another big day. Judon has another big day, another sack, another sack for Judon. So Kyle Duggar making big plays. The fumble recovery for a touchdown. Defense is scoring every week, like we said. That has to happen, I guess. That's going to be a thing now. Just defenses has to score at least 1 touchdown per week. But yeah, no, I was thoroughly impressed with the beat down of the Lions. The Lions, a lesser opponent. It just shows that Belichick's still a good coach. People are talking trash, and when he goes up against a lesser opponent, a lesser head coach, like we saw this week, he's gonna exploit it. He's gonna make them embarrassed.
Oh, yeah. If he goes up against Jared Goff at any point in his entire career, he's going to be giving him more and more nightmares, it seems like. Excuse me. You said it, though. It was an inferior opponent. I don't care how many points they scored against other teams, especially in losses. This Lions team has the worst defense in the entire league. And then their offense was banged up. And on top of it, we made it a point to, like you said, make Jared Goff beat us, but also without his number one weapon in the tight end. I think Hawkinson only had 1 catch in the entire game. They locked him down completely. He had Amon St. Brown, who was injured in the game. So they had him on like a snap count, basically. So they didn't have any of their major weapons. DeAndre Swift was out. That was a major factor to everything that happened. But it seems like Belichick just has Jared Goff's number no matter what team he's on. He can't do anything against him. So that's pretty easy. On top of it, though, you also had Dan Campbell making some pretty bonehead decisions for this Lions squad. I mean, they went 0 for 6 on fourth downs. The one to start off the game on a 4th and 9, and you give Bailey Zappe, the rookie quarterback in his first start, you give him the ball in offensive territory to start off. Crazy to start. So I think that he did a great job, but I think on top of it, it started off, his nerves were alleviated immediately by getting that field position, and all they had to do was complete one pass, and then he had a field goal. I mean, that's what you want out of your rookie quarterback who's getting his first start, right? So wasn't surprised there by that. Wasn't really surprised by the outcome overall. I guess I was surprised that Detroit wasn't able to score at least once. But once again, it seemed like they were just shooting themselves in their foot. Anytime they would get into the offensive side of the field and get into field goal range, they were like, screw that. We have to score touchdowns to beat the Patriots. You don't have to score touchdowns to beat the Patriots right now. I mean, I love the team and everything, but if you get a few field goals, don't you think that that's a different game, especially early on?
Yeah, I mean Dan Campbell, bro. It's like you watch the Hard Knocks of the guy. He's like super hardo coach. Like I used to play coach. Like
Yep.
you know what I mean. And that's the thing, man. Sometimes players, former good, decent players, whatever what you want to call them, aren't the best coaches. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're just not because they let their ego, overtake their play call. Sometimes, like
Right.
he's like, oh, bet I won't go for a 4th and 9. What am I, some kind of pussy? Like, dude,
Right.
that's like the vibe I get from Dan Campbell. Like, he's like, we're gonna go for it on 4th and 9. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, see what's going
Yeah.
on. And like Belichick's like, okay, like defense, just stay at the sticks. Like, look at
Sure.
nice, easy turnover here. Like, this is stupid. And not it's not. It's like he didn't learn his lesson. It's just like, bet I won't do it again. I'll do it again. Like, it's like, it's literally
Yeah.
Dan Campbell to a. He's like, I'm way too masculine for my own good, and I'm going to put my team, the betterment of the team. I can't like compartmentalize, what's going on in my ego, so I have to force it and go for it on these situations where, yeah, if you do kick a three, a couple of situations early, then you keep the game close and you're playing against a rookie quarterback. It puts more pressure on the rookie quarterback if the game's close than if he jumps out to a 13, 14, 20, 29 point in the end point lead in the when it's all said and done. Like that's
Crazy.
that's smooth sailing for a rookie. That means I can run the ball, I can throw when I want to throw. The defense has to play extra aggressive, so those throwing lanes are going to be more wide open. Obviously Rhomandre in the running game, just gashing them for 168 yards or whatever it was. Like it just made the whole day super easy for Bailey Zappe, and that's what I think it should look like anytime we have a Patriots quarterback and we run this type of an offense that's conservative and everything. Like we should do well against the teams that want to do these 4th and 9s and give us the ball in great field territory. That's about playing into Belichick's hand. You know what I mean? Like he's so much of a field position guy. Like we'll punt him down there, we'll play good defense, we'll get the ball back, we'll drive. You know what I mean? And when you may start, not going away from that type of a game, and you don't have the guys to do it. It's one thing when it's like Miami and it's 4th and 9, and it's like he's throwing it to Tyreek Hill on a nasty over the middle glance post route like that. You know what I mean? That and plus that offensive coordinator is a lot more scary than whatever's going on with Dan Campbell over there. So it's a completely different scenario against another team, but if you're gonna play that way, you better have the plays to do it and the guys and the players to do it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think your Dan Campbell impression is spot on and hilarious, by the way. But I don't understand it. And then just going back to that 4th and 9, obviously it ended up being the strip sack from Judon brought back for a touchdown. So not only Patriots were only up 6-0 at that point. You can kick the field goal, get right back into the game, or you can do something stupid and end up having it be a defensive touchdown. Obviously, they're not thinking that that's going to happen, but it turns that way. That's a huge momentum swing. That's more of a 10-point swing than just a 7-point swing that they ended up turning it into anyways. It's crazy to me that they were able to do that. And then, like you said, Bill Belichick is wanting to do that plan. Even if he had Tom Brady behind center, he's trying to do that field position plan. He doesn't, of course, he's going to do it with a rookie quarterback that he has no confidence in. So you're just giving him the opportunity to. And yeah, like you said, Belichick's like, all right, I'll take it. Like if you're just going to do this for me, all right, fine, whatever, that works. But another part of it that you mentioned, Rhomandre Stevenson had an absolutely career game so far. I know this is only his second season, but yeah, like you said, over 160 yards rushing the ball on 25 attempts. Now, I will say that a part of that is because Damian Harris obviously went down with the injury after playing about 6 or 7 snaps, something like that. So it was a Rhomandre game the rest of the way because they didn't even roster any other running backs. There was only the 2 running backs to start off. So once one of them goes down, the rest is getting the ball the rest of the time. It now looks like Damian Harris is going to be down for multiple weeks off of that injury, which is terrible because I do like the 2-headed monster that is Damian Harris and Rhomandre Stevenson. But off of this offensive line and the way that they were playing, and once again, Isaiah Wynn did his Isaiah Wynn stuff. He still had a couple of bad penalties, a couple of bad, blown up plays where he gave up either, stuffed run or I don't think that there were any stacks, but he gave up some stuffed run attempts as well. So are you excited though, overall, to see what Rhomandre Stevenson is going to be able to do now as he is going to be the number 1 back? I don't really know who they're going to bring up. JJ Taylor to back him up or something like that. They're going to have to bring in other guys, but it's going to be the Rhomandre Stevenson show. Are you excited to see what this kid can actually do with a full workload?
I mean, yeah, I am excited. Obviously, like I mean, he's a really talented running back, and like the Patriots have been pretty good at like picking up these talented running backs past few years. So it's like, yeah, like I want to see him like progress and like get like 20 carries and this and that. But I also don't want to, running backs in this game are very, very not. I shouldn't say like delicate or anything, but like they get because you're getting most of the carries or you're getting you know,
Wear him
hit
down.
all the time on these plays by like these physical linebackers, safeties, D linemen, whatever it is. Like you're going to get bumps and bruises. And I don't know if I want Rhomandre taking all these hits week 6 of the season this early and running them into the ground. And then by the time when we need him late in the year, he's banged up too. And now we have Damian coming off a hamstring and now he's in and out. It's like, yeah, I think that like what you alluded to before, like the next guy is almost more important to me right now. Who that filler spot's gonna be, whether it is JJ Taylor or we drafted a couple of guys this year. I think a couple of running backs this year. Well, I think one in the 3rd round.
I think they put him down on the practice squad, but I'm not sure where he ended up.
Whether we bring him up or we bring in JJ and he starts getting more carries or whatever. So it'll be definitely intriguing to see who's taking more of those snaps in the running back game when Rhomandre comes out of the game. So I did notice that they were using a lot more because they only had the 2 backs, especially after Rhomandre was the only one left after Damian got hurt. It looks like they were going with a more spread set, and I think that plays into the fact that Bailey Zappe played in spread sets his whole career. So I think I think that's going to be anything to help Rhomandre and help the running game is the fact that now you have a kid that, his skill set is to spread the ball out and get the ball out to the receivers, out to the playmakers. So defenses in turn have to respect that. They have to play their nickel corners and their outside linebackers out on these guys a little bit more. All right. So that way they're not getting free releases off the line. It's not making it easy for Zappe, but in turn, that's going to make it really easy. You're going to go against lighter boxes when you're giving the ball to Rhomandre up the middle. You're not going to be going up against these, 7, 8-man boxes. Instead, if Bailey Zappe can prove he can get the ball out to the playmakers on the edge, then, you got to respect that. And that's going to open up more lanes for Rhomandre, So yeah. I do like Rhomandre being in there, and I just want to see, who the next guy is going to be. And I want to see how the offense responds to try to maybe make things easier for Rhomandre and at the same time make things easier for Bailey Zappe.
Yeah, no, I think you made a great point. It really is. You don't want to get your now what we're considering number one running back banged up now because he's the only guy that you have left. So yes, I do think I agree with you. It's going to be very important who's going to be able to spell him in this roster and give him some time off, but still be productive because that's going to be a big factor. Because we all know that the offensive line is coming together and Trent Brown is like, let me run the ball to the left side. I want to kill some people and that kind of stuff. And that's great. But if the guy holding onto the ball can't do anything with it, then that's going to be a problem too. And that's why you love that two-headed monster of Harris and Rhomandre. You have trust in both of those guys to take care of things. But it also, like you said, playing in the more spread offense just because Bailey was more comfortable in that one. And you could kind of test it out, honestly, against a really tough Lion or a really bad Lions defense that wasn't getting really any pressure and things like that. So it was really nice to see him be able to feel a little more comfortable and see how they're going to be able to do with that. But it's going to be interesting to see if teams just kind of attempt to just stack that box going forward, try and stop the run game. Let's see if we can force Bailey Zappe to beat us in these games now, just because, yeah, you would love that, I know, but I mean, he hasn't really gone, like you said, it's not like he did anything crazy. He was more of a game manager in this one just because he didn't really need to do anything, right? He obviously, the Lions weren't proving that they could do anything when they could get into scoring position. They're just giving you the ball back by going for it on stupid fourth downs. So Bailey Zappe was comfortable and didn't have to pass the ball a lot. It'll be interesting to see now going forward and what they're going to do with the wide receiver situation. You saw Tyquan Thornton coming back into the fold there, force the ball to him a couple of times. It seemed to be okay. Glad to see him out there. And they tried to throw a deep ball to him one time that looked absolutely terrible. By the way, a couple of the only deep balls that I saw from Bailey Zappe, not that great, to be honest with you. So I know I've heard things about the accuracy and everything. I'm still questioning if the kid can go downfield with the ball. We'll see what they're going to do against the Browns going forward. But were you happy with Zappe, but happy with kind of the way that he was working with some of the receivers? Obviously, Jakobi Meyers coming back was a huge boost for this team. Getting to see Tyquan Thornton go out there, and now they've gotten rid of a little Jordan Humphrey, which, we like the name and everything like that, but he was doing nothing for the receiving core. So now you got in Tyquan Thornton, Parker, Myers. This team has a couple of weapons now. Do you think that they're actually going to be able to pass the ball against a Browns defense that's, I would assume, going to try and stop the run, right? They have to, after seeing what Rhomandre just did to the Lions, that has to be a part of the game plan, right?
Yeah, I mean, and then I think early on you're gonna see that I think Zappe's gonna like that. I think that makes his job easier now. Like these reads, like you said, like you have Parker, who he's liked early on and often, it looks like, and you have Jakobi Meyers, who's obviously consistent over the middle and on third down, and then you have Thornton, who allows you to stretch the field, and that's the thing. And with Thornton, you don't even need to and that's goes back to the thing with Randy Moss. When we had Randy Moss on this team that had similar attributes in the speed and getting the ball down the field and whatnot, right? It's not even the fact that you complete the deep ball, right? It's the fact that now they have to respect the deep ball.
Right.
It's not that's what opens it up for everybody else. It's like we tell our quarterbacks, well, our first read is always the deep ball in all of our pass plays. We are looking deep first. You know what I mean? If that is open, we're taking it every time. You know why? Because the defense have to respect that. The safeties have to play over the top. They can't hammer down in the run game. They can't hammer down in our shorter intermediate throws. And it really opens things up for your pass game and your running game when you have somebody who stretches the field like that. So that's the thing. Is like with Tyquan out there, man, we'll throw you comebacks, we'll throw you goes, throw you posts, corner routes, whatever it is to get the ball down the field. Well, whether it's complete or it's not, or it's a pass interference or whatever it is, it's going to help benefit the offense just because now they have to respect it, even if we aren't hitting them early. Because that is one of the drawbacks with Zappe is that he doesn't have the greatest arm strength in the world. He's not. This is not. This isn't Ryan Mallett. This is not. You know what I mean? Somebody who can just throw the ball 80 yards in the air. This is more of your like, I can put the ball anywhere you want me to put the ball within 25 yards, and that's my game. If we watched him in college, that's what he did. He friggin' just dinked and dunked and completed like 71% or whatever he threw for in college. Like it's pretty friggin' good at any level. At
Oh,
any
yeah.
level, you're completing over 70% of your passes. You're an elite category there. So hopefully that continues, and then we have the reemergence hopefully of Devontae Parker being in there, and then you have Kendrick Bourne, who's kind of hopefully coming along more, because I really would like to see Aguilar's role lessen and lessen as we move forward, because I mean, one thing that Belichick hates is turnovers. He's like, if you turn the ball over on offense, and like that one last week is inexcusable. That is an absolute laser dime in the hands. I was trying to see if I could blame Zappe for that one. Like I was like, oh, Zappe probably threw it behind him. Like he probably, they probably, did they threw too high or something. It was probably too high and hot. And then I saw the ball, and I was like, he hit him in the numbers, in the hands, and my man just like gave it to the other team, dude.
Yeah,
like Aguilar, and then you fumble the game away a few weeks ago. It's like, like Belichick probably at his win with this guy. Like it, like what was the Eagles like fire thing? Like the dude said like, I didn't drop it like Aguilar when he caught the baby jumping out of the fire at the flaming house or whatever. Like, please, let's just not throw the ball to Aguilar anymore. All right, I'm done.
It's been brutal. I don't understand it. And then you see, Kendrick Bourne just barely gets in there, and then he's fighting with Belichick on the sideline. So you can tell that he's obviously melting back to some of the coaches, and that's ruining his role. So then it's like, well, we don't have anyone else. Let's put Aguilar in there. So now I'm happy that Tyquan's coming back, because at least, even though it's not the same role as a wide receiver, maybe he's doing, what, and I'm not always best with this, but he's doing the X, one of them's doing the Y, that kind of thing. I know that moved Aguilar back into a different position, just getting Devontae Parker, but he can't do anything. If he's just going to fumble the ball, like you said, or he's going to bat it up into the air out of nowhere on a ball that should have been caught, then I'm sorry, dude, you need to sit for at least a couple of games and figure yourself out. I don't care how much money we're paying you. That obviously is never really on Belichick's mind anyways. He's more about the turnovers and things like that. So I don't know. That is a frustrating thing that's happening right now. And we need to see more Tyquan Thornton and hopefully more Kendrick Bourne if he doesn't piss any more coaches off. But it seemed like Belichick was fine with him afterwards. They asked him about Kendrick Bourne, and they were like, I love him. I love his passion, all that kind of stuff. So maybe it was constructive arguing. I don't know what actually happened there. I can't read lips, so I don't know. But it seemed like Kendrick Bourne has no problem talking back to the coaches, and that's probably why his role has been lessened, I would assume, right? That's got to be it.
Yeah, the tight end was supposed to be on the line of scrimmage, and you could see before the play, he was trying to tell him, get up, because I'm off in this set. You know what I mean? And then they obviously snapped the ball with too many people in the backfield, and they pulled. Initially, that's one where like you just look at it real quick as a coach, and you're like, oh, Bourne's screwing us again. Like, get Bourne out. Like, that's what Patricia probably said, because he's in Patricia's dog. Patricia's like, oh, get Bourne out of there. He messed up. Even though Bourne was like, probably went over to Belichick. Listen, I'm off the line. I was right. He was off. You know what I mean? That's what that exchange was there. And that happens. That happens at every level. You get someone that forgets to hop on the line when they're supposed to be on. And you know what I mean? And then you're quick to blame it at first glance. You're like, you maybe pull off the wrong guy, and then you're like, oh yeah, you're right. You probably you should have been off, and then he should have been on. You're right.
Yeah,
so that's one of those things.
It comes down to that whole situation, and the player who knows more in that situation is Kendrick Bourne, it seems. So, that's frustrating. And you hope that he can make his way back into getting more of a role, because the more of those players we have, the better it's going to be for Bailey Zappe. The more options he has, the more, like you said, it's not even necessarily about completing things. It's about having the threat to be able to complete things. So we'll see how things go with him, with Bailey Zappe. You can't really criticize Bailey Zappe for this one. Like I said, it's not like he didn't do anything crazy. He was more of a game manager, but that's what the game dictated. And, even Tom Brady will be a game manager if the game dictates that. So you can't really base anything on this Zappe performance, if you ask me. I've been on the side of, he's not going to be the quarterback going forward, but this isn't something where, this performance would tell me he's a bad quarterback or he's a good quarterback. It's just kind of a, whatever. It is what it is. So that is Bailey Zappe at this point. We'll see how he does against the Browns, assuming that he's going to be quarterbacking them. If anything, it just makes the Patriots feel better that, okay, at least we can throw this kid out there and he's not going to, crap his pants while he's out there. He's going to be okay and be able to at least hand the ball off or hit some easy, wide open receivers. And we'll see what happens in the future with him. But there was another player that we brought up in the last show that I had you on. It was all about Zappe Fever, and then it was also all about Mr. Jack Jones coming out. And I had asked you if he is legit. I am starting to think at this point that this kid is legit. I know it's only 2 games. I don't care what anyone else says. That one, once again, stepping in front of that route, making that play, and having the wherewithal to get your feet down in bounds while contorting your body in midair was absolutely fantastic. He also had a couple of other tackles in the game. Jack Jones is here to stay. Even with Jalen Mills in the game, he's still getting a role. I'm excited about Jack Jones. Are we ready? Are you also ready to call Jack Jones legit? Because I am. Jack Jones is here, and he's here to stay.
It kind of goes back to the same thing I said last week about Jack Jones. Like Jack Jones is like, he's a pretty good cornerback. He plays well and everything. Like I said, his own guy. He makes plays based off of the coverage, and he's able to read the quarterback's eyes really well, and then make a play on the football in the air, and that's what he's shown time and time again so far. Those still with Jack Jones, it's like you have to go up against a big dog first. Like, let me see you against somebody like somebody on the Bills roster, like a Gabe Davis or a Stephon Diggs, and then we can really evaluate what level this guy's at. Is he Pro Bowl caliber, or has he just done well against bad teams? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm waiting to see with Jack Jones. But like, I do love it early and often. He's a rookie and he's got 2 picks. If he keeps playing like this, he'll be he'll be battling with the other Lions rookie for the defensive player of the year when it's all said and done in January. So I'm excited for it. I want to see him like continue to progress and keep getting more of these big plays on defense, everything, and then we'll see what he does once he plays some legitimate competition.
Well, now he's going to go up against the Browns and see what he can do against that team. And there was another player that just went up against the Browns that the Patriots used to have, and he got absolutely cooked by a player by the name of Amari Cooper. So now Jack Jones is going to get a chance to I would love more than anything to see Jack Jones step in front of a pass from Jacoby Brissett to Amari Cooper and take that one back for the Patriots at this point, because I don't know if you saw it, and I'm going to jump kind of from the Patriots topic just to crap on a former Patriot, but J.C. Jackson got absolutely cooked by the Browns in this game. I don't know if you saw it, but he had that little Amari left him in no man's land. He was completely lost, like he was on ice skates. Little in cut, out to the sidelines, tiptoe grab along the end zone. Great job by Amari Cooper, but I mean, this is the Amari Cooper that is nowhere near what he was in the Cowboys days, and he's being thrown to by Jacoby Brissett of all people, and just absolutely cooked J.C. Jackson. Are you surprised at all that JC has had such a bad start to his career with the Chargers at this point? He's been a complete no-show, and now he's being exposed, it seems, at different times. Did you get to see that? Have you been noticing JC Jackson? Because I've been watching.
Dude, no. I mean, like, does anybody know what Ellis Hobbs did after he left? Does anybody know what Asante Samuel did after he left? Does anybody know what Malcolm Butler did after he left? Does anybody know? Like,
I do.
Like they were trash. They just weren't as good as when they were on the Pats. Like all these guys, we can go down the list, and there's so many occurrences of the Patriots doing well, finding guys that fit their system, their defense, and then because they fit so well, they excel to these like phenomenal like plays, and like they get to Pro Bowls, and they become like almost on this Darrelle Revis level or the Stephon Gilmore level, when realistically they're just some 4th round pick who's got like average abilities in the NFL. But then when you go put them in a different defense and a different scheme, now you're forced to do things that you weren't doing when you were on the Patriots, and now you're being exploited. You know what I mean? That's what's been happening to a lot of these cornerbacks that leave the Patriots after having a couple of good years. And then you go on, you get your big contract, you go play for these other teams. That's awesome. You got paid, but now you're forced. Now he's like, all right, JC, now we're going to play you in some like cover 2 bump and run or whatever he's not used to. And now he's all of a sudden he's just not playing. To us, it looks like he's not playing at that same level. But in reality, he's just not comfortable with the scheme that he's in currently now.
Yeah, he's got the defensive coordinator looking at him like, hey, man, you're supposed to be our number one quarterback. You can't cover Amari Cooper in the flat right now. What the heck is going on? You can't figure this whole situation out. I thought you were an opportunistic guy who gets interceptions all the time, but JC Jackson is really just another guy. And that's why I was so against everybody who was like, you need to sign JC Jackson. You need to, why aren't you giving him a big contract? We're making such a huge mistake, all this kind of stuff. Come on, he's not anything special. He's getting exposed now by Amari Cooper, who's nowhere close to a top tier wide receiver, in my opinion. So I mean, it's just validation as far as I'm concerned that the Patriots made the right decision there. And now my newest hot take is Jack Jones better than JC Jackson.
I saw that tweet.
I said it. That's what I'm going with right now. I'm going to stick with it for as long as I possibly can. So that one, we'll see how that turns out. But I'm loving the fact that JC in that division specifically, he's going to get torched left and right. He still has to go against Patrick Mahomes. He still has to go against that, whatever you want to say about the Raiders, but going against Devontae Adams. And, these are the types of situations where have fun, buddy, because you're not going to be anywhere near what that contract suggests. So just wanted to get that one in there to crap on JC Jackson again. But I did have one last topic that I wanted to talk about. I know you got to get going soon here, but there was one other thing that happened, and I was really upset about it because I was gambling on the game. But it also happened multiple times this weekend. I need to get your opinion on the whole roughing the passer situation. The first one happened with Tom Brady at the end of the game against the Falcons, and he complained about what was one of the easiest looking wrap-up tackles, no inappropriate behavior, nothing bad that happened to Tom Brady. If anything, the player was trying to get off him at the end, and Brady tried to kick him as he was getting off. And then you had also in the Monday night game, Mahomes gets wrapped up once again late in that game as well. That's another roughing the passer. So is the league going into a terrible place right now? I know that's like kind of the talk of the town right now, but are we going to be heading towards two-hand touch at some point for these quarterbacks? I mean, this is ridiculous if you've seen both those plays. I mean, I know that you're more of an offensive-minded guy, being a former wide receiver, but even you got to look at that and be like, come on, how is he supposed to tackle him, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things going on with this. It's first off, it's Tom Brady. The dude has been in the NFL for 25 some odd years. I don't even know at this point. And it's like, yes, he deserves calls. You know what I mean? Just like Michael Jordan, when you're that dominant for that long, when you're the greatest ever, you're going to get calls. They're going to let you take an extra step sometimes. They're going to draw a foul that maybe wasn't there. They're going to, you know what I mean? You're going to get calls because you are, a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady or whatever, right? So I think that has some level to it. I think they actually showed, Marcus Mariota getting drilled in the right underneath the chin in the same week. And there was no call at all. And that's like one of those things where it's like, it's Marcus Mariota, who cares? You know what I mean? Like the NFL is like, Marcus Mariota gets hurt, who cares? But if Tom Brady gets hurt or Patrick Mahomes get hurt, they lose money. So like they can't get those guys hurt. It's a business, so they can't get those guys hurt. That's half of it. The other half of it is I think this is a little bit of a, we saw Tua go down with the bad concussion stuff. The concussion stuff is hot right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So this is the NFL being like, and look at how Tua got like the bad one where he was holding his hands up and fencing, right? It was the exact similar type of a tackle where he was grabbed around the waist, spun around, and thrown to the ground. And because of that, you're gonna have more refs, seeing that type of a tackle as a dangerous play, and that is what is left kind of vague with this whole roughing the passer thing, is that it doesn't even have to be a direct blow to the head or a direct blow to the knee. It could be as simple as a play that they just thought they were a little bit too rough on the quarterback with. You know what I mean? That's what the rule is determined as, is like, if it was more aggressive than it had to be. Now, in this case with Tom Brady, clearly that was not the case. The dude made a picture-perfect tackle, wrapped up. I don't even think Tom Brady hit the ground. I think he landed on the player.
What are you supposed to do?
You know what I mean? So this one was egregious. But I'm saying, like, there's levels to peel back on this where, like, why something like this was called, why you get, a roughing the passer in this scenario is not, just based off the tackle. It's based off the circumstances of what happened with concussions in the NFL and quarterbacks right now, and the longevity and the superstar realm that Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes live in, as compared to some of these other quarterbacks who take similar hits and don't get those calls.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're spot on. That's really what it is. Like I had said, my fiance, Kristen, said that it wasn't a roughing the passer call. It was a roughing the Brady call. That seems pretty obvious at this point, that, the NFL is going to be the NFL. Like you said, they want to be able to make money at all times. If they get their star quarterbacks hurt, they're not going to make as much money. So that's what it comes down to. That's when they actually put their foot down and change rules and change things that happen. So, I don't know. Terrible calls, but yeah, it is who it is. But all right, that's everything that I got questions for you. Well, actually, give me one more point then. What do you got?
I got one more take, because we're talking about Tom Brady, and I just want to throw this out here just for you.
Boy, okay.
All right.
Okay.
But hey, Tom Brady, first career start ever, okay? 13 for 23, 168 yard with a 56.5 completion percentage. No touchdowns, all right, and got sacked twice. Is Bailey Zappe the next Tom Brady?
Get out of here. All right. That's going to do it.
I'm getting the sniffles, bro.
That was ridiculous. There's no chance. He is not Tom Brady. He will not be anyone. I can't do this anymore. This is ridiculous. Get Bailey Zappe off this team. I can't wait to trade this kid for a bunch of draft picks. That's all I care about right now. Be as good, win as many games as you can, throw as many touchdowns as you can, so we can trade your ass off this team for draft picks. That's all I care about. He's not going to be anybody.
Trade the GOAT.
Trade
the GOAT.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Coach. We'll have you on again next week. We'll see what happens with the Browns game, and we'll have more to talk about then. Thank you for coming on.